Everything is self-taught. I learned 20 years ago, before YouTube existed, and that's it. I just did it. I don't remember learning, I just did. Hi, I'm Brandy Obey of Studio Obey. I'm in Breaux Bridge, Louisiana, in a region of Louisiana called Acadiana. I am a welder fabricator. So I'm in an area that would be considered Cajun country, where we've got a strong culture of food, music, a very specific culture of food and music and lifestyle.
All right.
Big blue Cadillac, all these with extra shots.
All right.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
So my family's from this area. Actually, my mom and dad shared the same last name when they got married. We're both Guidrys. But there's a lot of Guidrys here, so we're not related. Now my last name is Obey, which is French, but it's Parisian French. We got married in 2007, and from then on, I knew that no one would ever be able to pronounce my name correctly. In around 2011, we acquired this property and built my dream for a long time, a shop and also a house. We did all the work ourselves, and 1 week after moving onto the property, I found out I was expecting. So, kind of freaked out, like, oh my God, I have so many projects. I need what am I gonna do? I'm supposed to build a staircase. Anyway, I had a great pregnancy and I built the staircase. These are cypress stair treads. Cypress is a native wood to Louisiana. Yeah, and then if you look up here, the infill is a 6-panel screen room divider that I found at a flea market, and it was perfect. Cutting the first pieces of metal for the staircase, every time I turn on the saw, he'd kick. I could feel him kicking. So I graduated college in 1999 and my major was product design. So that's how I have a design background. My dad is also a welder. He's a wonderful fabricator. He's made everything in the world. So, and his father was the same way, very talented. So right now, I currently work with a lot of interior designers and I found this niche lately. I do a lot of lighting fixtures, but throughout the 20 years that I've been doing this, I've made gates and handrails and a giant mosquito, handbags. I also sew just various furniture, fixtures, frames, you name it. So right now I do mostly custom work. That's where my time goes mostly. I made this too. Okay. 3, 2, 1. So I've got 2 sign holders on this historic building in Breaux Bridge. They were actually made 16 years apart. The one farthest here was like kind of at the beginning of my welding journey. And then this one was a few years ago. It's actually modeled after the traditional percussion instrument called a T5. It means little iron.
Hey, can someone point me to the nearest jam? I got my T5.
So we built this house about 9 years ago. We started construction. I've got these doors. I built some gates for a gentleman, and he had these doors from a demolition, and he said, these are in my way, you want them? I was like, yes, I do. And we carried these doors for probably 6 years, moved them several times, and then they ended up in our own home. And so the idea was always to do the barn doors, just because it's a wide open space, and this is just would be a blank wall otherwise, so it adds a little interest. And it was also before the barn door trend really took off, so people were intrigued by it. But I made the hardware myself. These are some of the little products. It's a hoop frame designed for fabric. Embroidery had become popular in the last few years, and I want to use this as a way to frame any sort of fabric. So photos on canvas like this, or artists stretching canvas and using them as frames for their artwork. Early on in my making career, this was about 20 years ago, there was a large public arts project. Our icon was the pelican, which is the state bird of Louisiana. So I turned mine into the Pelisquito, which it was kind of a play on the mosquito, the real state bird. So I did a lot of work. I chopped it up into pieces and turned it into a giant mosquito. And it was one of the most well-known projects. And it was also stolen a few months after it was installed. So I ended up making 2 of those actually. So that was kind of the kickoff to, kind of being recognized for something. It was all over the news. I think there was a reward for whoever could find it. What I like to do when I make my crawfish etouffee is season the meat or the protein, whatever I cook. I usually season that first. And then that'll help to season the dish. And then you can always build on that. And I like to let it sit with the seasoning for a while. I love the early on design. How am I gonna make this work? How will I do specific parts of it? How will I fabricate specific parts to make this work for the customer? I really enjoy that. That's the kind of thing that I fall asleep thinking about and wake up thinking about. And so I enjoy that part. Kind of do a little bit of everything, so I guess I'm not a master of anything, but I understand how things go together and how things fit in a space, so I can make things work. And I think that the designers that I work with appreciate that. Smells good. Well, I wouldn't be able to do what I did, especially after having a kid, because she watches him and supports him, and she supports me. So, moms are the best. My mom's the best.
Seeing her go through a lot. So, and I'm happy for her success, and I pray all the time that she can reach that goal.
Aww. My dad bought my first welding machine for me. I was probably 24 for Christmas. He gifted me my first Millermatic welding machine. So I was really surprised. And then in the following years, he bought me my first welding helmet, my first torch rig, and then I met my husband, and a month after we started dating, it was Christmas, and he bought me a grinder. And I had that grinder for 15 years, and he has just been amazing support, amazing. If I have an install, he assists. He's real good at understanding things and taking my direction. I've always just traveled the path wherever it took me. But once I learned how to do what I do, I can't not do it. I love what I do. People hire me, so I must be decent at it. It's hard work, but I'm not afraid of hard work. I've finally sort of achieved, you know, people know who I am in this area, and they know what I can do, and I don't need to so much explain anymore. Yeah, I'm a female welder, you know. That most people are familiar with me. I mean, of course, you still find people like, wait, you do what? You don't look like a welder? Blah, blah, blah. But it's fine. I have a portfolio. I direct them to the website.
We can do it one more time.
I mean,
Hey, I just met you. This is crazy. My name is Justin, so call me baby. Yeah, I took those pictures right, and they look so fine. They look so fine. They look so fine. Hey, I just met you. This is crazy. My name is Justin, so call me baby.
oh Lord. Okay, so. So, oh wait, I have dog hair on my face. Okay,